Hi, boys and girls. It is Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. Welcome to another day of distance learning. Today, our agenda is as follows. We are going to start off with math problem solving and something different called sprints, and I'm going to show you what that's all about. I'm going to model it for you. You actually have a copy of your own sprints and that you are going to be doing, but I just want to model exactly what you need to be doing. Number 2 is foundations. We're going to start something a little bit different, and we are going to make nonsense words instead of real words. We're going to make make-believe words today. And then number 3, we're going to listen to Roxaboxen again, and we're going to make connections. And then the expectation is that you are going to write about your connection after the video. All right, so let's start with math problem solving. I need my mat, and you need a pencil and a piece of paper. And the story for today is that Steph had 8 cats in her house. 3 of the cats went outside to play. Draw the cats. So 8 cats. Remember, we make circles. 8 cats. 3 of them went outside to play. So I'm going to show that they went away. 3 of them. X them out. You do that too. How many cats are still in the house? So you should have 8. Take away the 3. All right, so let's do our work. Number sentence. Number bond. I'm going to give you a minute to do it too. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to show you my work. I have 8 minus 3 equals 5. I have 8 minus 3 equals 5 in the number bond, my number sentence, and then I answered it in a complete sentence. And I wrote 5 cats are left in the house, because that was the question. How many cats are left in the house? 5 cats are left in the house. If you just wrote 5 cats, that's fine. Take a minute. Try your best. Awesome. All right, today I sent all of your parents something a little bit different, and I know you're going to do great with it because you're all super, super smart. It looks like this, okay? And it is called a math sprint. I want you to take a look at it. There are actually 9 of them, and they start off pretty easy, but they get more difficult as you go on. So I just kind of want to model how to do them. It's okay if you use your fingers on it. That's completely fine. You just have to do it as quickly as possible and as accurately as possible. So you want to get, of course, the right answer. So they're just asking you, this first one, you always want to make sure you check the signs. This first one is addition, meaning that you are adding on this entire sheet. But it's going to start to change it up. You're going to do some addition and some subtraction. So you really want to make sure that you pay attention to the sign. All right, so I'm going to start this one, and I just want you to watch me. Okay, so 1 plus 1, I'm just going to fill it in, is 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Now, I just went down and I did that super duper quick. You might take a little bit more time to do that, okay? Okay, boys and girls, no thanks. No thanks. Can you shut the door lanes, please? Okay, so now I have 2 plus 3. The hand that you write with is the hand that is obviously going to be holding the pencil. The other hand, you can use your fingers for, because it's not going to go above 5 on this, okay? So if I have 2 and then I add 3 more, I see that my answer is 5. Awesome. The next one is 1 plus 3. So 1 plus 3 more is 4. 2 plus 2 more. The next one, 4. The next one is 3 plus 1, 4. The next one is 2 plus 3, 2, 3, 5. The next one, 4 plus 1, 4, 1 more, 5. And the next one is 3 and 2. You may might be able to do that in your head, and that's great. Do it. 5, 1 plus 3 is 4. So you do this as quickly as you can, and then you give it to your parents for them to correct. When you get them all correct, you're going to go on to the next sprint. And it's another sheet, and it looks like this, but it's a little bit different. Okay? And I've explained to your parents how I want you to do it. If you get 1, 2, or 3 wrong, that's okay, boys and girls. But you're going to do it again until you get them all right. All right? So this was the first one, and I modeled for you this one today. If you do it today and you get them all right, then you're going to go on to the next one tomorrow. And I want you to try to get through at least 2 this week. You may need to do the same one over and over and over again, and that is okay. That is okay, boys and girls. All right, so let's put that aside. Let's look. So math problem solving and sprint. I just went over that. Next is foundations. Okay, so for foundations today, we are going to spell some nonsense words. So paper and pencil, turn your math paper over. The first one is the word. It's a nonsense word, meaning it's not a real word. But you're going to use your knowledge of what you know of letters and sounds to spell the word anyway, because you can still spell nonsense words. The first nonsense word is thub. Thub. Let's spell it now. Thub. Nonsense. Make believe. Not a real word. Thub. Awesome. So we have 1, 2, 3, 5 words for today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm kind of just going to write this out. You can do this or you don't have to. Just to make sure that you have enough room. Or that I have enough room. I want to do this too. Okay, so the second one is zeth. 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 Okay, you do it. You should have Z-E-T-H, Zeth. If you don't, just fix it. Awesome. All right, number 3 is feg. Feg. F-E-G. Feg. F-E-G. Feg. Okay, ready? You do it. Feg. Awesome. Next one is yit. Yit. These are silly words. Yit. Y yellow ya. I itch it. T top t. Yit. Good job. And the last one today is shob. Sh. Ah. B. Shob. Sh. S-H ship. Sh. Ah. Oh, octopus. Ah. B. Make your bed if you're not sure which way the bee goes. B. Shob. Okay, let's recap. Repeat after me. Thub. Zeth. Feg. Yit. And shob. Awesome. All right, good job, boys and girls. All right, so foundations is done. Okay, I'm going to move this over. So today, while I'm rereading Rocks of Oxen, and by the way, I really love this story. I hope that you liked it from yesterday. I want you to be thinking about your connection to the story, okay? So as I read this story, I was thinking of a lot of things inside my mind. I was thinking of going out for ice cream with my kids in town because we have a few ice cream places that we like to go to. I can think of 3 right off the bat. I was thinking of when I was a kid and I used to play restaurant with my sister, and we would set up a restaurant. And this kind of reminded me of the creativity that was used in this story to set up the town. There was a bakery that was mentioned in the story, and it just kind of reminded me of a bakery from my town that I grew up in. So I have a lot of connections to this story. I asked my daughter after she listened to this story what her connection was, and she told me about going to the beach and building with rocks that we like to do. We go to Narragansett Beach and there's a spot. It's very, very rocky. And she builds with the rocks and makes towers and houses out of it. So that was her connection to the story. So as I'm rereading the story, I want you to think of your connection. And it could be more than one. We're going to write about one today, though. That's the expectation, that you're going to write about one connection from the story. So really, really listen. And maybe you will hear something different that you didn't hear yesterday. Okay? Because we're reading for a different purpose. Marion called it Roxaboxen. She always knew the name of everything. There, across the road, it looked like any rocky hill. Nothing but sand and rocks. Same old wooden boxes, cactus and greasewood and thorny plants. But it was a special place. And remember, we said the setting of the story is in Arizona, which is out west. Very, very dry state. The street between Roxaboxen and the houses curved like a river, so Marion named it River Road. After that, you had to ford a river to reach Roxaboxen. Of course, all of Marion's sisters came. Mary Ann and Frances and little Jean, Charles from next door, even though he was 12, oh, and Eleanor, naturally, and Jamie with his brother Paul. Later on, there were others, but these were the first. So maybe, boys and girls, you play with different friends on your street, okay? And that's a connection that you would have to the story, is that you play with your neighbors. And I know a lot of you live really close together. Well, not really the first. Roxaboxen had always been there and must have belonged to others long before. When Marion dug up a tin box filled with round black pebbles, everyone knew what it was. It was buried treasure. So maybe you have a connection to playing buried treasure. Maybe you've played something like this before, pretending that something was buried treasure. In this case, they're pretending that rocks are buried treasure. Those pebbles, which are tiny rocks, were the money of Roxaboxen. You could still find others like them if you looked hard enough. So some days became treasure hunting days, with everybody trying to find that special kind. And then on other days, you might just find one without even looking. A town of Roxaboxen began to grow, traced in lines of stone. Main Street first, edged with the whitest ones, and then the houses. Charles made his of the biggest stones. After all, he was the oldest. At first, the houses were very plain, but soon they all began to add more rooms. The old wooden boxes could be shelves or tables or anything you wanted. You could find pieces of pottery for dishes. Round pieces were best. Later on, there was a town hall. Marion was the mayor, of course. That was just the way she was, and nobody minded. So the leader of the town. After a while, they added other streets. Frances moved to one of them and built herself a new house outlined in desert glass. Bits of amber, amethyst, and sea green, a house of jewels. So maybe you have connections to collecting sea glass at the beach. I know that some friends have mentioned this before. I think MJ likes to do this. So maybe you've done that before, and that could be your connection to the story. And because everybody had plenty of money, there was plenty of shops. Jean helped Mary Ann in the bakery. Pies and cakes and bread baked warm in the sun. There were 2 ice cream parlors. Was Paul's ice cream the best or Eleanor's? Everybody kept trying them both. In Roxaboxen, you can eat all the ice cream you want. And I know that we all have gone out for ice cream before. So we definitely could have a connection to that. Everybody had a car. I love how they're using their imagination here. All you needed was something round for a steering wheel. Of course, if you broke the speed limit, you had to go to jail. The jail had cactus on the floor to make it uncomfortable, and Jamie was the policeman. Mary, there it says jail, see it? Anna Mae, quiet little Anna Mae, was always speeding. You'd think she'd like to go to jail. But if you had a horse, you could go as fast as the wind. There were no speed limits for horses, and you didn't have to stay on the roads. All you needed for a horse was a stick and some kind of bridle, and you could gallop anywhere. Maybe you've gone horseback riding before. Maybe you've played like this using your imagination. So you could have a connection to that. I know I've been horseback riding before. I used to go for lessons, so I have a connection to that page. Sometimes there were wars. Once there was a great war, boys against girls. Charles and Marion were the generals. The girls had Fort Irene, and they were all Girl Scouts. The boys made a fort at the other end of Roxaboxen, and they were all bandits. Oh, the raids were fierce, loud and whooping, and the stamping of horses, whirling swords, of thorny plants. But when you reached your fort, you were safe. Look at that. Oh my goodness, they have sticks for swords. Roxaboxen had a cemetery in case anyone died. The only grave in it was for a dead lizard. Each year, when the cactus bloomed, they decorated the grave with flowers. There it is for the lizard. Sometimes in winter, when everybody was at school and the weather was bad, no one went to Roxaboxen at all, not for weeks and weeks. But it didn't matter. Roxaboxen was always waiting. Roxaboxen was always there. And in spring, the plants blossomed, and everybody sucked the honey from its flowers. And everybody built new rooms, and everybody decided to have jeweled windows. That summer, there were 3 new houses on the east slope and 2 new shops on Main Street. And so it went. The seasons changed, and the years went by, and Roxaboxen was always there. I think it's great that they have a place like this to play. The years went by, and the seasons changed, until at last the friends had all grown tall, and one by one they moved away to other houses or other towns. So you might think this was the end of Roxaboxen, but oh no, because none of them ever forgot it. None of them ever forgot Roxaboxen. Years later, Marion's children listened to stories of that place and fell asleep dreaming dreams of Roxaboxen. Gray-haired Charles picked up a black pebble on the beach and stood holding it, remembering Roxaboxen. More than 50 years later, Frances went back, and Roxaboxen was still there. She could see the white stones bordering Main Street, and there where she had built her house, the desert glass still glowed, amethyst, amber, and sea green. That it was still there 50 years later. Oh my goodness. That is the end of Roxaboxen. All right, so you're writing for today. My connection. Everyone say, my connection. You are going to write your connection to the story. Whatever connection that you have. Maybe it's going out for ice cream. Maybe it's using your imagination and doing some type of play when you are on a play date, or with the friends that live on your street. Maybe it's going to the beach and collecting sea glass or playing with pebbles. Whatever it is, that's your connection to the story, something that the book reminds you of from your own life. And I would like you to write about it today. Take a picture of it, put it on the Remind app, or email it to me. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, boys and girls.